Your Excellencies, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to be here today. Thank you for a wonderful introduction. Basically, I do realize I'm the Berlin Wall between this wonderful weather and your nice dinner, and the reception will be finished soon. So I will try to be very short and sharp. But the theme of that I would like to shortly attract your attention is connected with sustainability. Why? Why quantum behavior? Why quantum behavior of global risks? And why sustainability? At the end of the day, we all realize that we live in 21st century. A century which is very special, a century which the world is interlinked, interconnected, when the things are happening with the speed of light, when the things are happening in one place in the world, the next moment they are in the other place and the recognition is there. So it's a completely different world. 2 or 3 points that I would like to make shortly. Number one, globalization. There are papers and discussions that today is the end of the globalization. I completely don't agree with that. When we speak about globalization, and the globalization is at the end of the day the trade between big countries or smaller countries and the barriers that are building up today, then maybe you can speak about some sort of barriers and the slowdown of the globalized trade. But the globalization is no longer a process which is a macro process, it's a micro process. People in the world, trade, relations, connections, information is so much interconnected that globalization will grow, continue, and with higher speed. Point number 2, we are speaking about the Industrial Revolution. Yes, about the 4th Industrial Revolution. If you look at the several last centuries of the mankind and the development, basically we had a revolution and discoveries of specific factors, be that in energy or in physics, and steady growth, and then another revolution and another steady growth. The 4th, the Industrial Revolution, or the 5th one or the 6th one coming, I don't agree that there will be revolutions ahead. What we will have ahead is our evolution. So that means rapid with big R, evolution with big E, means rapid evolution or constant revolution, because the revolutions will happen both in science, technology, industry, trade so quickly that we'll not be able to say, okay, this was the 4th revolution, the next one, the 5th one. And that will happen not only in physics, mathematics, IT sector, they will happen in biology, interconnection, it will happen also in our behavior. So our evolutions will happen in our daily lives as well. Our evolutions are happening in the world today. And an example is Armenia. At the end of the day, just a year ago, in Armenia, I was inaugurated on the 9th of April in Armenia as the President of the Republic. Then a revolution started just a couple of days before that, started with 5 people, then 100, then 500, then 1,000, 5,000. Then in 2 weeks' time, we had a revolution in Armenia with hundreds of thousands of people on the square. And this was not an organization, this was not a political party, this was a Facebook revolution. This was a 21st century revolution. So our evolutions are going to happen not only in science, technology, trade, but also in political life as well. The same happened in France, the same is happening in the United States, in other countries in Europe. Why? Because this world more and more is becoming not classical. Not classical, and I would like to bring an example from quantum physics. Like 100 years ago, I think physicists, they did understand everything what was happening worldwide. How the mechanics worked, they could explain everything in the world, but gradually there were events that they couldn't explain because the ideas, the philosophy of classical mechanics didn't work. And the reasoning and common sense of classical physics didn't work until people, giants like Albert Einstein and the creators of quantum mechanics created something which was the behavior of elementary particles, which was not classical at all. Because in order for a particle to go from this point A to point B, they had to go through a path in the classical physics. But in quantum physics, physics of small Arctic particles, I think that particle with a probability could be anywhere there. So it's a completely different way of looking at natural world. So I argue that in 21st century, we're entering the time of quantum behavior of global risks, and also quantum behavior of global politics, regional politics, individual politics, where the power of an individual, like in physics, a power of a very high-speed elementary particle hitting uranium of a specific mass can create a chain reaction, which cannot be stopped with a hammer, which is a classical behavior. So events, social events, political events in the 21st century are going to have a completely different behavior. Global risks, be that in technology, the global risks, be that in pandemics, be that terrorism, their behavior is going to be completely different than in 20th century. You don't have to create a specific network of people interconnected to each other in order to promote bad idea or create a terrorist organization. You have to implant an idea, maybe a vicious one, but with powerful enough that can engage people somewhere else without organization and bringing them to action. So the world, with its risks, be that pandemic, financial risks happening, a word in New York or in Washington can create a big change worldwide. People will be losing billions and billions of dollars. So the risks are behaving quantum, and the solutions must be quantum as well. So welcome to the 21st century, where each of you have to think differently, with each of you have to be creative, and each of you have to be also quantum. And here I would like to stop, because these are just simple, small particles from a book that I am finishing that will be published in spring. And I'll be very happy to present to all of you, and the book will be called The Quantum Behavior of Global Risks. Again, thank you very much. And I would like to raise my thanks to His Highness for his kind invitation to visit United Arab Emirates, which I am doing with great pleasure. I would like to thank you, the government, excellencies, for this wonderful opportunity, and also to be present at this very important conference on sustainable development. And sustainable development, we should look at it because the sustainable development will also have a quantum behavior. This is something that I will speak in 2 days' time. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening. And enjoy your dinner.
Well done.
Thank you.
Red line.